Welcome back to the TrueCast, everyone. Today, I'm gonna tell you about something very special that happened to me just a few days ago. I watched a movie that's probably gonna change my life forever. I don't think I'll ever be the same man. Yeah, that's right. I've seen the Minecraft movie. It was an event, I guess. I'll give you a review in this episode. And this time, a few episodes ago, I talked about the Sonic movie, and I didn't want to make spoilers and stuff because I liked it a lot and it was a cool movie. Well, it's different now. I don't think the movie is as cool. I'm sorry, guys. So I'm gonna make spoilers. Besides, probably everyone already watched it, anyone that was, interested in it. And if you don't want spoilers, you know now to, I guess, go back to episode 10. Yeah, just watch, you don't have to stop watching the TrueCast. Just watch another episode. But yeah, with that being said, I don't mean to say that I didn't like it at all. I thought it was maybe it was okay. So let's dissect this thing one thing at a time. So first of all, graphics. Not bad. I think it worked. Looked alright. Looked fairly nice. The CGI was, I think, nice enough. The only problem was that, it's one thing to record a movie in the real world, but by adding CGI characters, that's one thing. But then it's a whole other thing to record a movie entirely in a CGI world, but using real life character, using real life actors. Obviously, in the real life movie, whether it's superheroes, whatever, but it's like a movie with actors that's being recorded in our world. Obviously, it's not gonna feel as jarring if there's maybe a huge CGI monster or some CGI characters here and there, but if they're very few. But the other way around, it's very jarring. And that's why, since I've seen the trailer months ago, that was my first criticism. I was like, why are you guys doing it with actors? Why are you not just making, full-on animation? If the whole point was to use Jack Black, which I don't think it was necessarily the point. Okay, I think they loved the idea of using Jack Black because he's a cool guy, brings many people to the movies and stuff, he's very famous. It's a very talented actor as well, I think. So, Jack Black was actually maybe my favorite part of the movie, I have to say. But here's the thing. If it was really about bringing in famous actors, but you guys still could have done it as an animation movie, Of course, it's better to get proper voice actors, but some actors have been in animated movies before and they did a good enough job voice acting. And Jack Black himself, he's got experience at this point because he's been Poe in all the Kung Fu Panda movies. I don't know if he voice acted in other movies. I know he voice acted in Super Mario movie as Bowser, and I thought he killed it. He was a very good Bowser. And nothing would have stopped anyone from doing a full animation movie and getting Jack Black to voice act Steve, It would have been, and you could have given, Steve Jack Black's mannerisms. That would have been okay. I think it still would have worked better than what we got in the end because it would have been an animated character in an animated world. Less jarring, less conflicting styles, if you could say that. I think it would have worked better. Even if it was crazy Steve, exactly like Jack Black, which is probably what no one thinks of Steve in Minecraft. I think because Steve is a very silent protagonist, it's sort of a blank slate. It could be about anyone, really. But in our collective imagination, I don't think any of us thinks of Steve as, you know, a high energy guy like that. No one thinks of Steve as Jack Black. Because let's be real, Jack Black, as Steve in the movie, was basically just Jack Black. In fact, I remember telling this to my girlfriend, and I keep having trouble sort of separating the two characters in the movie. Obviously, outside of the movie, yeah, I know that Steve is the one in Minecraft and Jack Black is an actor. Yeah, they're completely different in real life. But in the movie, while the movie was going on, I often just called Steve, I just called him Jack Black instead. Because that's what it was to me. And it didn't help that it wasn't a crazy costume or anything. Steve is literally just a random guy wearing a teal, blue shirt, whatever, that color anyway, a light blue shirt. It's literally just that. And he's made of cubes, I guess. That's what makes him more recognizable. But if he wasn't made of cubes, he wouldn't be as recognizable, I think. He would literally be a random guy wearing blue shirt. And so the costume is that, obviously, yeah. But again, because of that, it's inevitable that when you get Jack Black doing Steve, you just think of him as, oh, that's Jack Black, that's not Steve. How to fix this? Make an animation movie. Don't make it with actors like this. But with that being said, even this is not like a huge criticism, because I think it was still fine. I think I still, had fun anyway, looking at the character. And yeah, the other characters too. Garrett, I kept on thinking of him as Jason Momoa. But at least Garrett, had a more original costume, It's not a character that's already in the game. So he gets a somewhat crazier costume, with the pink jacket, which, by the way, I thought it was kind of cool. The character of Garrett was okay, I guess. I'm a bit confused, My girlfriend was telling me, oh, the whole thing was that they made him to be a bit of an asshole, and they were building up to get his redemption arc and be nice and stuff. But I just got the feeling that maybe they were just confused. Not my girlfriend, I mean, the people making the movie. Because to me, instead, it just felt like they messed up the character and they made him a bit dumb and an asshole before. Then they made him sort of nice, just stupid. And then they made him a bit of an asshole again. And then they made him, I don't know. See, to me, it just felt like the character wasn't defined very well. They were a bit confused. And now the kid, the guy, I forgot his name, I'm sorry. But, the male kid. Now, I thought he was a cool character. I thought he worked very well. Because you had this sort of juxtaposition of Steve already knowing everything of that world, being a mentor figure, and the kid not knowing anything. But while the other adults were like, this world is made of cubes, that's crazy, isn't this insane? Which is, I was worried this would happen, and it did happen. They made the usual, like, get all of this, world made of cubes, that's crazy. Yes, it did happen, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was kind of okay. It didn't make me cringe that much. But while the adults were a bit like that, obviously exception for Steve, the kid was very eager to discover this world, and I like that. Like, finally someone, doesn't end up in a new weird game world and doesn't start criticizing it for no reason. But actually is fascinated by it, and it's like, man, I want to learn about this stuff. Everything seems cool in here. So I really like this character. his sister was alright, I guess. And Black Lady, and sorry, I don't even remember her name. She was okay, but the character felt a bit misused. Like maybe she didn't get enough screen time. Like she wasn't developed enough. And at that point, I'm like, you either find a way to give her more time, maybe by wasting less time with useless scenes, which I'm gonna talk about now, or you just get rid of her from the movie. Because at the end of the day, she didn't really add much to the movie. She didn't even subtract to the movie, that's the thing. But she just felt like she wasn't very well developed. That's kind of a shame. Why would you add characters and not do much with them? Just don't add the character at that point, right? Or at this point, you could have, I don't know, if you really wanted her to be in there, I really don't know what other solutions you could go for, Because at the same time, you did have a different few characters and you had to use all of them. You know what, maybe that sort of subplot with the villager going out of the world and ending up in the human world and meeting that woman, that actress, I don't remember what's her name, she's been in a few things, but that subplot there, okay, some people found it funny, but if we have to be critical for the purpose of the story, that is completely, utterly useless. It doesn't do anything at all for the main story. It's just comedic gags. And yes, I get it, it was only like 1 or 2 minutes. But if you took those 2 minutes wasted there and gave them to that black lady, of which I can't remember the name, maybe she could have been a cooler, more interesting character. That's what I mean, And by the way, I better remember that. Like I said, I don't remember her name, I don't remember the name of the kid, and I don't remember the name of his sister. So, yeah, I'm just going with Black Lady, young kid, and kid's sister. I'm sorry, but I got no other way to describe them. I guess this in itself is sort of a critique. The characters weren't particularly memorable. Or maybe they didn't say their names enough, they weren't introduced well enough. Maybe more the second, they weren't introduced well enough, they could have been introduced better. But whatever. I still thought the way they all meet, that was kind of alright, I was worried, this group of strangers, no one knows each other. I was worried they were gonna end up sort of in a very forced situation. But instead, I thought it was okay. I don't exactly remember the details of them meeting. Oh yeah, I think it was the kid together with Garrett. They find that the cube has like a special effect, and they find a note. That was a bit forced. Like, we don't know how else to make the movie go on, so we'll do this. But whatever, at the end of the day, that didn't cringe me too much, so I'm skipping over it. I thought their meeting was okay. The zombie designs were kinda scary. Like, props to the animation department, really. You guys did a good job with designing, I think, the zombies, many mobs, the villagers, the illagers, they looked alright. I mean, at least I thought they looked okay. The casts were a bit meh, because they felt too cubic, I guess. To be fair though, even in game, they are basically huge cubes with tentacles. Like, what I'm saying is, even in the game, they don't exactly look that nice. I guess just after so many years of them being in the game, we're so used to them, Maybe we even have a nostalgia about them, so now we're okay with them. But objectively, they look like huge flying cubes, It's not like they look particularly cool even in the game. So obviously they were not gonna be much cooler in the movie. The pigmen were alright. Piglin, technically, because we changed their name now. They become zombie pigmen when they get in the sun, which I thought was a cool concept as well. Kind of explains why they don't just invade the overworld like that. It's a world where, yeah, they could destroy things, but they would automatically be turned to zombies unless they drink the potions, and they'd have to make so many potions, there will be logistic problems, and probably overall it's not worth it just to destroy stuff. However, now that makes me think also, wouldn't they have the same problem in the real world? Maybe not, because our real world has different mechanics, I guess. So maybe they wouldn't turn into zombies with sunlight in the real world, it's just sunlight in the Minecraft world. I don't know. The Enderman was cool. I don't know, I kinda don't like it that, if I remember right, he kinda just attacked the kid just like that, kinda unprovoked. Also the thing about scrambling your mind. I guess it kinda does, but in the game you don't have any weird effects, so it's more of a headcanon the movie just made, It's something the movie is going on, rolling with it, but I don't think it's necessarily canon in the game. Yeah, they do put noises in your mind, but it doesn't really scramble your mind like that. Still, I can't complain too much. That was a cool way to expand on the Enderman. I guess the Enderman itself is an old mob and wasn't ever really expanded that much in the games. We got another update with Piglin and new Piglin society and ruins and stuff, but apart from that Ender City update, we didn't really get as much for the end, so the Endermen are not as developed, I guess. So yeah, the plot itself was okay. As I was telling you before, there's some scenes that honestly I thought were a waste of time. Like, here's the thing. When something happens in real life, however it happens, that's fine. It's real life. It's happening that way. No one gets, no outside entity is, theoretically anyway. I don't know if you're religious or not, but let's put it this way. Theoretically, no outside entities is writing the entirety of your life, At least not the entirety. But a movie is a different thing. A movie is created by someone, okay? So you gotta keep in mind everything that happens in the movie, everything that happens in the plot. Someone made it happen by writing it on purpose. So, going back again to the some characters not being well developed. We didn't have time, okay. But here's how you could have made time. There was a scene where Garrett is like, I need the diamonds, I need to save my shop, and forces Steve to go to the mines to grab this diamond stash he had. And I was like, okay, that's alright, that's good for development for Garrett, I guess. And so they go, they fight creepers and whatever, I don't remember, but the scene was like 5 or 10 minutes, probably 10 minutes, so there's a 10-minute scene, which is okay at first. But then, later in the movie, they have to go mining anyway. They have to go get like materials regardless later in the movie. So, later in the movie, that's like a 4 minutes scene maybe, when they have to prepare for an invasion. Couldn't we just add 6 minutes to that and completely delete the whole detour they take through the mines? Couldn't we just do that? Couldn't we, just sort of unify the two scenes together? They go look for diamonds because they gotta make diamond gear, and Garrett sneakily grabs a few diamonds, grabs like 6 or 7 diamonds because he intends to sell them in a real world. And Steve catches him, and Steve is like, dude, and trying to be like Jack, like, dude, we need those diamonds to make some sweet gear. Maybe it doesn't speak like that. I'm terrible at impressions. Don't judge me, guys. But here's the thing. Yeah. So Steve catches him, and Garrett could be like, "Oh, Steve, I'm kind of a mess. I'm really a failure out there. My shop is failing, and I need the money." And Steve will be like, "It's okay. I understand, broski. You can keep those diamonds. Just keep a few, but we have to use the other ones for the battle." And so, yeah, now you got the whole thing about Garrett selling diamonds. Oh, Garrett is not cool. That's evil. But you resolve it instantly. Garrett's get to open up to Steve, and then from then on, he appreciates how Steve is understanding of him, and this leads him to think, oh, these guys are important. I need to help them, and so they become friends, and Garrett becomes a better person, and there you go, character development for Garrett done instantly, without needing to add extra minutes. And now you'll be like, well, but this scene happens after the bridge scene. How are you gonna deal with delete the bridge scene? That was dumb. That was very dumb. Because they had a discussion before, and then Garrett was like, okay, I'll try to be nicer. Because they had already gotten the diamonds by then, I think. Yeah. And so then Garrett wants to be a hero, and there's this bridge scene when there's piglins, and they're gonna blow up the bridge, and Steve and the kid escape on a gust, and Garrett could have very, very easily jumped on the gust with them and just flew away. Yes, if I remember right, they were chased by gusts, or maybe not. I don't remember this scene. I don't remember it entirely because I was disgusted, I guess. They end up crashing anyway, yes, but whether Garrett stood there to slow down the piglins, which blew up the bridge and all died with him, or jumped off the bridge with them, the piglins on the bridge with the TNT, they still couldn't have chasen after them. So explain to me, what the hell was the point of Garrett staying back to die a hero like that? Oh, but see, if you do this, and here's the kicker. Later on in the movie, you can have Garrett come back, be like, I didn't die after all, surprise, I'm here with you guys, I can help you. That's dumb. Even if you really, really wanted to do that, you could have had Garrett try to jump on the gust and miss it, and being like, I love you guys, and fall in the river or whatever. Okay, I guess this is a much stupider way to kill him, and it doesn't look like he died, I guess, so you don't get the same effect. But here's another idea. Just scrap the whole fake death thing. You did to add some extra drama, I get it, but you literally made the movie worse. That's dumb. That's very dumb. Because he had to stay there to die for no reason, to permanently die for no reason. You know, just because he wanted to be the hero now. So this is like literally scene number 2 that is kinda useless, you know? You could cut another 5 minutes probably. Maybe not 5 minutes, but you could cut, let's say, I mean, if you also cut Garrett coming back, you're cutting like another 2 minutes. So you're cutting 2 minutes from this, and that scene of 10 minutes in the mines, maybe it was only 8 minutes or whatever, but that scene's been unified with another scene later, and up till now we got back, let's say, about 5 to 6 minutes, right? These are 6 minutes you can spend on the Black Lady to develop that character. So then I would remember her name. You know, actually do it right, you know? Otherwise it kinda looks like you just put her in the movie just to put her in the movie. What's the point? You know? I don't wanna be like those people that are like, oh, they're woke. They're going woke, they put black people in the movie, that's woke. No, that's dumb. I'm not trying to be like that. I'm just saying, if you're gonna put a character in a movie, regardless of their gender, sexual orientation, skin color, race, regardless of anything, that character could even be a potato. If you're gonna put, but if it's a character you're gonna put in a movie, have a reason to add the character, you know? Like, for example, Garrett was clearly the comic relief character, clearly. But I feel like with the Black Lady they didn't really do that much. You know? My god, she could have been the mother figure instead of the kid's sister. Or well, you could have kept both, but give her a tiny bit more of a mother figure role, I guess. I don't know, guys, I don't know. I guess I would have just done it different, that's all I'm saying. But look, I'm not the one making the movie, so I'm not gonna tell you that I have all the ideas on how to fix it, you know? But here's something I liked instead, at the end of the movie. I was literally, while watching it with my girlfriend, I was commenting, I was like, it's kind of a shame for the final showdown. No one has diamond armors. I know they would have looked cursed, but would have been kind of cool. And then Steve appears with the diamond armor, and yes, it looks kind of bad on him, but I loved it. I was like, yes, we showed armors before, now we're using it. Makes sense Steve would use it. And Steve was so overpowered in the movie as well, by the way. And I'm not gonna lie, the scene where Malgosha, that's crazy. I remember the villain's name, although I guess she was the villain. The scene where Malgosha, get Ace defeated and stuff, and tries to stab Steve, in the back, stab him, sort of do like a surprise attack. That was funny, because she was like, oh, I gotta tell you something. Steve was like, you don't have a tiny knife with you. No, I don't. Then he comes over, she grabs a knife, and he effortlessly disarms her. And then she repeats the same thing again, and he's like, you're the worst. that I like that. I found it funny, ironically. I mean, not even ironically, I think it was actually funny, that scene. But here's another thing, right at the end. Another dumb scene. My god. Steve, in the backstory and throughout the movie, you get the feeling that he really loves his dog, Dennis. Oh, I remember the name of the dog. Here's another character I remember. So he really cares about the dog. He loves the dog. But while he's thinking about staying in the Minecraft world because he loves that world, and that's kind of fair, I guess. But while he's thinking about staying there, he's like, no, Dennis, you gotta go with her. With the black lady. I swear I don't remember her name. I'm sorry, guys. You gotta go with her. You can make her happy. She needs you. And I was like, no, that's stupid. Why? What about you? It's your dog. The dog loves you too. The dog belongs with you. She'll stay with you. Besides, the dog is made of blocks. It's supposed to be in the Minecraft world. Why would you give your best friend to someone like that and possibly never see your best friend again? Why? And what's the worst part? She, that lady in the build up to the last fight scene, she tamed a gazillion dogs. She had tamed literally all the dogs of the world or whatever. She had many dogs. Did they all die? Did she release all of them? Why couldn't she take one of them with her if she wanted a blocky dog? First of all, she literally could have gotten a dog in the real world, okay? But second of all, let's say she really wanted a block dog for whatever reason, a Minecraft dog. Well, you could have gotten any of the dogs you had there in the world with you, that you tamed there. Why do you need Steve's dog? That's so dumb. What's the point? It's literally just to add extra tension and drama and whatever. Then Steve instead decides to go live with them in their world. And that was kinda cool. That was nice. I accepted that, But yeah, overall... because of the art style, and the plot was kind of dumb. It was, I mean, not even kind, it was just plain dumb. It wasn't a good movie. I gotta be honest, it wasn't a good movie. But that doesn't mean I didn't like it. I thought, still, it was fun. And fun enough, at least. It didn't bore me, I didn't want to get out of there. And I had some moments where I had a tiny laugh. There were a few references that were cool. There was the Technoblade reference as well, which I think I mentioned in the last episode. I didn't know the guy, but I think he was cool, so it was cool that they put a reference to him. So clearly they also did some research into the movie. I just wish they put more effort into the script, because it was bad. But at least I had fun, and yeah, Jack Black, like I was saying before, he made the movie much better. Now, my girlfriend, she hated him. Okay, she thought he made the movie worse. Whatever. She's a hater, I guess. Now, I'm a cool guy, so I see cool, I recognize cool when I see it. And, I mean, it wasn't cool, it was just funny. That's, yeah, that's the point. It was funny. I enjoyed whatever Jack Black will say. Almost every single line from him felt meme-worthy. In fact, after the movie came out, you started seeing, those playlists, not playlists, sorry, not even tier lists, more like just lists, I guess, like top 5 quotes from Steve from Minecraft. It would be like stuff like chicken jockey, the nether. So the memes are also kind of funny. Oh my god, there was a scene that was kind of terrible, but so terrible I liked it. Which is when, right before the montage to prepare for the final battle, they all put the hands on top of each other. I don't know how you call that gesture. But, they go like, all for one for all and stuff. And Steve goes, okay, first we mine, and then we craft. We Minecraft! Oh, I should have said that before. Let's do it. No, we don't have time to do it again. But that was funny. Okay, that was extremely bad, okay? And it's something that would be extremely cringy normally. But at that point, in my head, I was just thinking, you know what? This is not a Minecraft movie, this is a Jack Black movie, it's just for the memes, I'm watching it for the memes. And so, I generally had a laugh at it. Yeah, I still kept, criticizing the movie throughout, before and after the scene, sure, but overall, I did have a laugh at the movie, I did have some fun. Here's the thing, again, story-wise, many aspects, even the setting and stuff, it's kinda bad, But at the same time, if the movie was fun and entertaining, I can't really say it was like the worst thing ever, It was meant to be a fun movie in the end, and it was fun. At least for fans of the series, I guess, at least for fans of Minecraft. So I can say it is probably, at the very least, a 6 out of 10. And maybe up to a 6.5. I don't know, I don't want to say 7 because it seems disrespectful to other movies, But yeah, I didn't hate it. And I'm glad I got to see such a meme movie, while it's still popular, I guess. Especially because now I feel like popularity will slowly start fading, and we probably won't talk about it as much, we won't have as many memes. People went crazy with the popcorn and throwing slushies and stuff in the theaters, which is bad. I had a laugh, but that's no way to treat, the cinema workers or theater workers if you're in the USA. That's no way to treat people. They gotta clean it, and it's a mess to clean. So, I was like, the first 2 or 3 times I saw it, I was laughing, but then I started feeling bad, and now I don't really laugh at it anymore. So, kind of a shame that people became so destructive with the movie. But I guess at the same time, it's happening because, again, the movie is kind of bad. You can only salvage it with memes. And people start going crazy when it's memes, you know? But yeah, that's it about the Minecraft movie, I guess. I still had some fun. There were two, like, one mid-credit scene, I think it was. I mean, I've seen these online. I didn't really bother much, but I had seen them before watching the movie anyway. There's like a mid-credit scene where the villager speaks English and falls in love with the woman. Like, nobody cares. And then there's a post-credit scene where Steve goes back to the old house and finds that a woman moved in there, and the woman's name is Alex. So, oh, surprise! We're setting up for a Minecraft 2! Which now they're probably gonna do, since it sold so much, made so much money, this movie. Let's hope maybe the second one they make a better job. You know, they make it a bit more, yeah, you know, higher quality. They have a better story and stuff, better characters and better character development. But I wouldn't be too hopeful for it. We'll see. I wonder if it will turn into a huge meme like this one again. I think it might not. It will still be a meme, but not as big, probably. Because this was, like, a huge, occasion. What? They're making a movie from Minecraft? That's crazy! And many of us grew up with it as well. But that's also kinda why I felt like, okay, it was sort of fun, but it was a bit disrespectful to the source material, in the past few days, I've had ideas of different ways, I guess, I would have done the movie. So, I'm gonna end this huge segment by briefly giving you two ideas I thought about. So, first of all, in both cases, we do a full animated movie. No actors, no nothing. All animated. Full 3D animation. So, here's my first pitch for what the Minecraft movie could have been. A mysterious man forgot his past. He has amnesia, whatever. Doesn't remember his past. And we see like the first 10 minutes of the movie, 20 minutes maybe, he survives. Eventually he builds a house, builds a base, and then eventually starts thriving in the world and like starts building like a huge castle and stuff. And that's when he finds, maybe he goes to a village, okay? And there finds an old villager, and he tells him about an ancient prophecy. A being, a human, they called him. He will be able to defeat the Ender Dragon and bring peace to the world. Basically what would happen is, he then goes to defeat the Ender Dragon, and the world now becomes like with no mobs. That's an idea. I think it's a little better, follows the single player story a little more, and he has to travel very deep in the mines where I don't know if he mines diamonds to make the most strong suit of armor so that he can go to the end and defeat this Ender Dragon. Maybe you could have a whole thing where the Endermen start spawning more and more often, they start invading the world, and so he has to go to defeat the Ender Dragon in order to stop the Endermen from invading the world. Could have been cool, I think. But then a second concept I thought about could be, what if Steve is this guy in this world and he just feels lonely? The first 15 minutes of the movie will explore that, he builds stuff, he survives and stuff, he plays Minecraft, basically, inside Minecraft, and he even has like a pet dog, and And yeah, it's not like super sad, he's somewhat happy, he has moments of happiness, but at the end of the day he goes to bed and thinks to himself, oh, I wish there were other humans in this world, I wish I wouldn't feel so lonely in this world, you know? And so one day he discovers a secret portal, oh my god, maybe it could have, maybe it could be the same kind of thing that they did in the actual Minecraft movie, where he finds this weird cube and the earth crystal and fuses them and opens up a portal, and this portal brings him not to a very boring human world, it brings him to the multiplayer servers. Come on guys, it would be so cool. Just like we used to play Minecraft, right? Like as kids, maybe we would see YouTubers play the game and then we will think, oh, I wanna play the game, and we played it single player, but then we discovered multiplayer servers and we will start hanging out with people, you know, and it will be a movie sort of mirroring our story of Minecraft players. Especially considering, yeah, okay, a lot of kids are still into Minecraft, and many, I think for a good part, kids are still a huge audience, probably still the main audience for Minecraft, like it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and in between, you know? But there's many adults who grew up with Minecraft, and now we wanna feel represented in this movie, we wanna see a movie that's kinda about us, I think. So yeah, Steve finds this world in multiplayer, and, you know, he befriends people, maybe even finds a love interest, who knows? But here's when chaos starts happening, because a group of players, they are called the Griefers, they are destroying the buildings, they are ruining the world, and so he has to find these Griefers. He creates a team of willing soldiers that want to fight to defend the world, and some of them are his friends. Then we get, I don't know, another 1 or 2 guys, maybe we get like a whole army or something, but they get split in teams, and so Steve's team goes investigating on a lead, and then they find the base of the Griefers, and they fight and defeat the Griefers, and multiplayer world is safe again or something, I don't know. Or maybe instead of the Griefers you could make it so it's a huge monster, kinda like Minecraft story mode, where I remember there was the Wither Storm. Maybe you could do something like that, it will be cool, you know? I think it will be cooler than what we got anyway, you know? Could be more respectful to the main, you know, games, content, to the fans. But yeah, I guess overall, look, the Minecraft movie was what it was, and that's fine. Couldn't have expected it to be something perfect, I guess. And the crazy thing is, in this episode, I literally only talked about the Minecraft movie for like 43 minutes, and I wasn't expecting it. But that's the end of the episode. I'm really sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't worry, there's more content coming up. I keep a tab of stories and stuff I could tell you guys, so they're coming, don't worry. But for today, I will say that's the end of it, and I wish you a nice, tasty lava chicken. Avoid chicken jockeys, and we Minecraft. And yeah, okay, that's it now. Right, goodbye, bye bye.